is the Gulf of Mexico, conventional fields offshore, deep offshore Gulf of Mexico, which had been partly delayed after the Macondo incident. There was a bit of a lag in investment, but we are expecting in the next few years a very significant growth in deepwater Gulf of Mexico production from the U.S. Now, potentially that could extend to Mexico if the Mexican reform efforts to reform the oil sector succeed. But in our expectations, in the next 5 years, we will see very significant development, very significant growth in U.S. Gulf of Mexico supply. And that's not going to be light tight oil or shale oil. It's going to be deep water.
Over here, and then Travis, yeah.
Beth Evans, I'm a reporter with Platts. I had a question. You mentioned transportation majors and the rise of them here in the U.S. I was wondering who you consider to be the bigger transportation majors, and if they include the railroads at this point. And are you seeing a similar move in Europe and the Middle East and Asia?
Well, yeah. I mean, there was a flurry of MLPs that were created to develop new transportation options for back-end crude and for other crudes, new production domestically. There's been a lot of horizontal consolidation of the sector in the last few years. So, companies like, I mean, there's any number of companies. I'm not really an expert on the corporate makeup of the sector, but I think it's a very important development that bears further examination. But looking at the East Coast specifically, for instance, companies like New Star, like Sonoco Logistics, all are increasing their footprint and are playing a large role. Buckeye, interestingly, linking the domestic transportation network in the U.S. Between the Midwest and the East Coast, between the Midwest and the Gulf Coast, between the Gulf Coast and the East Coast, also with the Caribbeans. The Caribbean islands have always been an important storage and terminal sector, mostly in the past geared towards the residual fuel market, the bunker market, to some degree the crude market. And we're seeing an expansion of storage capacity in places like the Bahamas, in places like St. Lucia, but also a retooling of capacity to handle light